Hello, this is Targor. This video is a Twitch stream that was not edited, so it's gonna look like a Twitch stream. Welcome to my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus. The design direction of my vision of Classic Plus is substantially different from that of retail WoW, Circus Shadowlands, and new private servers, Vanilla Plus and Turtle WoW. This is partially because it aims to fix Vanilla WoW's many problems first, flesh out and polish its already there second, and add new content third. This is part of a playlist of videos. Check this video's description for a link to the playlist. The document is displayed as my vision of WoW Classic Plus, and the document's version number is 1.5.16. That's one version later than the last video. All versions to the document are based upon patch 1.12.2 of World of Warcraft. Every video is based upon patch 1.12.2, the one before the Burning Crusade patch. If you just want to know about the general design direction of my vision of Classic Plus, before you otherwise look into this, then watch the introduction video in this playlist, or view the document yourself and look at the list of major features. The link to the document is in my channel's About page. That and I do not have a team of people, or however, working with me to make an actual private server out of this. This is all pure design thus far, and it ain't done yet. Now first off, as I had covered in other videos in this playlist, it is important to know this stuff before I go in depth about hunters. The changes to hunters in this Classic Plus stuff. First off, as I went over in other videos already, all items in the entire game that had an item level above 65 were squished down to an item level of 65, including legendaries that are still better than epics. And all raids harder than Upper Blackrock Spire, excluding world bosses, were turned into 40-mans, including Zolgorb and 1820. And they'll all exclusively drop item level 65 epic items with a tiny chance for select items that are required for the legendary weapon quest chains. So there's only going to be one tier raids, and it's going to be hard. And on a related note, world bosses drop item level 63 epics now. Only item level 63 epics. Note also that the PvP ranking system is being replaced with a new one, and that all rank-based PvP rewards are being nerfed at item level 65, so there will be more rewards. So rank 14 players can wear PvP epics in every slot by their shirt, and not just in several equipment slots like a vanilla. And then rank 15 players will get access to the level 71 epic weapon to emulate beating the legendary weapon. And then epic battleground awards are being nerfed at level 63. So the PvP epics are actually going to fucking mean something, and not just mean that you stood in line waiting to get rank 14, as well as dumping a ton of time into the game. Anyway, it's also known that world buffs are massively nerfed, and buff stacking in general is heavily revised as well. All that said, every class will have far less gear and buffs to scale with than they had in vanilla, so keep all that in mind while you watch this video. Know also that resistance skills that you can teach your pets will have their effects doubled, though I will be going over that in the next video about hunter pets. This is about hunters, not their pets. The next video is about their pets. Though this video is going to go over their Beast Mastery talents, but not Hunter Pets, because Hunter Pets is section 7.1a. It's a whole entire another section. Anyway, the resistance skills that pets get are going to have their effects doubled, but they'll also cost double or more training points. And on top of that, a rank 5 of each resistance skill will be added for the level 60 pets for a cost of 200 training points, granting your pet 315 to the specified resistance. This will make it much easier for your pets to survive in raids, so I'm probably still going to have to do more than that if I want hunter pets, and on a related note, warlock demons, to survive in raids, BM/Steamboat or not. I am particularly hesitant to make them just take less AoE damage because of the thematic implications of it, though I might just end up having to do it. Anyways, time will tell. So, the actual changes to hunters. First off, the agenda. Not the execution, but what I want to do. So what I generally want to do to hunters. I want to nerf hunter mob tagging so that hunters are not the indisputable kings of mob tagging. I want to make every species of pet be worth something, whether for PvE, or PvP, covered in the next section, which will be in the next video. I want to make Beast Mastery be worth something in raids. I want to make fast range weapons be worth something, at least for marksmanship and beast mastery hunters, without making slow range weapons suck for marksmanship or survival hunters. More importantly, I want to make fast range weapons be useful beyond being stat sticks in the first place for any class, which means making it be useful for hunters because who the fuck else would it make sense to make it be useful for anyway? I want to turn melee hunters into a real competitive thing in both player versus player and player versus environment enemy combat. I want to turn trapping into a hunter-only secondary profession, but this will be covered in section number 9.18, trapping, which I will be going over in this video. Because it's only relevant to hunters. It's only for hunters. Anyway, I want to make Serpent Sting be worth using in raids because without a debuff limit, new players will intuit that they should use it, regardless of what the guides say, because new players do not always read guides. I want to make traps go off and someone runs over it, regardless of their speed, covered in section 11.0.17, other game mechanics. I'll be going over that in the eventual other game mechanics video. I want to make hunters stop wearing leather at high levels. So that rogues and druids will be happier. I want to make no talent be useless when someone else in your group has it. I want to make rating specs be better at PvP without being optimal PvP specs. And I want to make PvP specs be better at rating without being optimal rating specs. And I want to make no talent be useless in either PvP or solo play. I want no talent to be good in PvP and not solo play, and no talent to be good in solo play and not PvP. Or rating. I also want no talent to be useless or rating. Wait, actually, forget that part. I just remembered why I didn't write that there. Anyway, now general hunter changes. First off, an important design note. Hunters of aim shot, so most of them, desire a range weapon that is as close as possible to 1.5, 2, or 3.0 speed that they're all passive haste/slows. Do also note that attack speed haste/slows are changed to all stack multiplicatively with each other, as mentioned in section number 11.0.17, other game mechanics. Below is a list of all passive attack speed modifiers for ranged weapons circa yesterday when I updated the design document. Quiver/ammo pouch, plus 15% haste, of course. Attack speed gloves, plus 1% haste, and now also 1 attack power. Deadly aim enchant to gloves, minus 10% haste, but also plus 7 range crit and plus 13 range attack power. Powerful shots enchant to bracers, minus 5% speed, range attack speed, and plus 4% range crit and 7 range attack power. Biznick's new 256x137 easy aim scope, plus 2% range haste and 3 range attack power. Brutality to ranged weapon enchant, enchanted by enchanters of course, minus 10% range attack speed and plus 8% range crit and plus 3% ranged attack power. Lemur of Rapidity, which by the way can only go on heads now, it no longer works for legs. Plus 1% haste and plus 3 attack power. 1.7 speed weapons just need a quiver/ammo pouch in order to nigh optimally get 4 auto shots in per aim shot. 2.3 speed weapons just need a quiver/ammo pouch to optimally get in 3 auto shots per aim shot. 3.3 speed weapons need a quiver/ammo pouch and a 1% speed enchant, such as Lemur of Rapidity, on top of powerful shots to bracers to nigh optimally get in 2 auto shots per aim shot. For weapons of other base attack speeds, use various combinations of the above enchants to make them work out well. Every range attack speed should work out given how many different enchant options there are. Trapping will be turned into a secondary profession that can be only learned by hunters. As such, their traps must be crafted and be in their bags before they may be used. Trapping involves both crafting and setting traps. See section number 9.18, trapping, for more details and all other trap changes. This will go towards fleshing out the class. 9.18. What? Oh, I forgot the colon. So, trapping. This is now a hunter's secondary profession. This also adds a minor gold sink to boot by making you have to craft them and buy the reagents from trapping reagent vendors. Anyway, general trapping changes. Explosive trap. First off, explosive trap will be renamed to combustive trap so that I am not thematically obliged to change explosive trap to deal part physical damage and part fire damage if it's initial damage. So that I am not thematically obliged to. Hunters may no longer learn to set combustive traps, freezing traps, frost traps, or immolation traps Nor can they learn to use flare. Instead, they may learn a trap crafting secondary profession called trapping from the hunter trader, who can teach them schematics for combustive, freezing, frost, immolation traps, flares, and practice traps that rogues need to train your trap disarming skill. More on that in the eventual rogues video. Also, since traps have to be crafted before you can use them, they occupy bag space and you may only carry a limited amount of them. Do note that engineering bags, a new kind of bag, can contain traps. Also, players still cannot be disarmed. Hunters may craft, quote, practice traps, like engineers can craft practice locks. These traps do nothing but despawn when triggered, and they require one trap disarming skill to disarm, and it's very easy to spot, but like other traps, only hunters can lay them down. And unlike other traps, these can skill players who are friendly to each trapper. So if you're a hunter, rogues might want to make friends with you because there are not any NPCs below level 16 that lay traps for them to disarm. Your maximum possible trapping skill will always be equal to 5 times your character level. There will not be apprentice trapping, journeyman trapping, expert trapping, or artisan trapping. Just quotation mark trapping quotation mark. 1 to 300 from the one secondary profession, which is only for hunters. Next to all hunter trainers, a trap regan vendor will be present, whose prices for trap regans are similar to those of the rogue's poison regans. The regans used in hunter traps are not crafted by players. If they were, then that would make hunters feel pigeonholed into being an engineer or alchemist, which I do not want to do. Or even worse, both. Furthermore, most regan vendors can sell rogue poison regans, without being labeled as poison supplies, however. In addition to them selling other items or not, they'll also sell hunter trap regans. Hunter traps are not buy now pick up items. They all stack to 20, and they may be traded to other players. Your trapping skill will still need to be high enough to set such a trap before you may set the trap. However, to craft the trap before you may set such a trap. However, if your skill is not high enough to set up a trap or use a flare, then you simply will not set up a trap or use a flare when you're doing an attempt to do so. The trapping skill will only be increased by crafting traps and not by setting them. Don't try buying somebody else's. Well, I'm not sure why you do that. Anyway, how concealed the trapping doors is based upon your trapping skill at the time of setting the relevant trap. At trapping skill equals character. At 300 trapping skill, your traps will be as hard to spot as they were at level 60 in vanilla. And before that, they'll be easier to spot based on how much lower your trapping skill is than 5 times your character level. The trapping skill that is required to learn, craft, and give a trap will always be the same. All trapping skill requirements and skills shall be as follows for each rank of each trap. Practice traps. Orange at 1, yellow at 70, green at 90, gray at 120. Immolation trap 1. Orange at 105, yellow at 115, green at 135, gray at 165. Freezing trap 1. Orange at 115, yellow at 125, skill green at 145, gray at 175. Notably, freezing traps are learnable 2 levels earlier than in, actually that part's just a relation to the professional, that part's just in relation to the professional level restricted variables that I'm going to go over in a different video, so don't forget I said that part. So yeah, you can read these if you want. Just slowly scroll through them. And that's all the trapping changes. Now, back to hunters. Aspect of the Beast will be renamed to Aspect of the Predator because I like the name better. A new spell will be added to the game because insects are being turned into its own creature type. So yeah, track insects. It's just track beasts, except it works on insects. Learn at level 36, 44, or 46. I haven't decided yet. In this case, well, anyway, tracked insects will work on anything classified as an insect, so not critters such as fire beetles, by the way. Eagle Eye will be moved from the Arcane School, which is then according to WoW last I checked, to the Nature School, because it makes more sense that way, judging by the spell's name. Disengage's tooltip will say that it causes the hunter to stop attacking a target instead of saying that it causes you to exit combat mode, because this will make it be less misleading. Now, because this is some pretty complicated stuff, this stuff that I'm doing for these melee quests, this is because of changes I'm making to survival talents. I'll get to the reasoning later. Alliance touches will be given access to a level 30 quest chain, whose objectives have yet to be defined, that teaches you a passive spell at the end that increases the critical strike chance of rapid strike by 404T%. This percentage is intended to be high enough that with his 0-20-31 spec, a line touches sustained melee raid damage will be 5 to 10% higher than their sustained range damage in raids. The Horde gets Wind Fury Totem, but the Alliance does not, so this compensates for the Alliance not getting Wind Fury Totem. Horde Hunters shall be given access to a level 30 quest chain, also of undefined objectives thus far, that teaches you 3 passive spells as you complete the quests. One that increases your parry chance by 4%, another that decreases the chance that your melee attacks get parried by 10%, and another that decreases the chance that your melee attacks get blocked by 10%. This is to compare player versus player to the bonus rapid strike damage that Alliance Hunters get. The massive bonus rapid strike damage is actually going to be pretty useful to penetrate that much avoidance and gain 4 parries to boot. Especially if you're a melee hunter, because that might mean you'll have a pretty substantial amount of avoidance to begin with, and then an extra 4% on top. That's pretty good, especially since it's parry. Anyway, wing clip, and do note that when you parry an attack, your next melee attack will hit faster, unless that is you have a certain survival talent. I'll get to that later. In that case, something else will happen. Anyways, moving on to general hunter changes. The rest, more of them. Wing clip will no longer deal damage. As a result, Wing clip will no longer proc effects such as Dark Moon Card Maelstrom, Fiery Weapon, or Wind Fury Totem, and it will not proc Frenzy's direct. Excuse me. I forgot that I renamed that last version. What the fuck did I call it? Opportunistic Strikes. It won't proc Opportunistic Strikes either, which will make Beast Factory Hunters not do a lot better in melee than I want them to. Perform a lot better in melee than I want them to. Hunter Traps, it would be better if Beast Factory Hunters could be a melee or range spec, but that's not what I'm going for. They just have a melee backup of some sort. Anyway, kind of more than marksmanship hunters, so you know, kind of. Anyway, Hunter Traps, Goblin Blade by swords damage, and all non-player characters that are controlled by players, including temporary pets such as Scarlet Tracking Hounds, will no longer be able to tag any enemy on their own, no matter what. This way, hunters will not be the undisputed kings of mob tagging with warlocks close behind them. Instead, paladins, hunters, shamans, druids, mages, and destro locks will all be good at tagging mobs due to Judgment of Righteousness, Arcane Shots 41-yard range with talents, Shocks, Moonfire, Fireballs 41-yard range, also with talents, /Fireball, /Arcane Explosion, and Shadow Bird, provided you have the talent, respectively. Those are all good at tagging mobs. Some of these instantly reach the mob under short range, and others do not instantly reach a mob, but have a longer range than everyone else has. Anyway, moving on. It shall be ensured that debuffs such as Hunter's Mark and Killer Instinct procs, more on that later, apply to things such as Frenzies, Instant Attack, Opportunistic Strikes, and the Range Weapon Specialization talent, because I designed those around the assumption that they will. While Rapid Strike is K'd up, your dual hit penalty will not be removed from your offhand weapon during decay, if it was not already the case before, because there's obviously an oversight that did that, if it did, and because I don't want to balance hunters around it. Auto Shot will either no longer have a retry timer, or have its retry timer be shortened by so much that it may as well not exist. Said retry timer had caused you, in Classic Not Plus, to have to wait between 0.0 repeating 1 and half a second after attempting to cast Auto Shot to begin the half-second cast timer of Auto Shot. I won't bother explaining why this retry timer should not exist, but plenty of experienced hunters can tell you how much they hated it in Vanilla Classic. By the way, speaking of range attack speeds, when I went over hunter range attack speeds yesterday when I was updating a design document, I did actually not remember to account for multi-shot, but that shouldn't be too much. That's probably not going to be too much of a problem. I can just revise it again anyway. Anyways, moving on. Using multi-shot's damage will be changed as such. It'll deal from 85 to 115% of completely normalized weapon damage, plus Y, whereas Y is its flat damage bonus from vanilla. It'll be normalized around 2.8 weapon speed. Now, this is actually very different than regular weapon damage normalization from vanilla. Complete weapon damage normalization, unlike in vanilla, also normalizes the component that is your base weapon damage and not just the component from your attack power. It also normalizes all the other components from your damage, except for flat damage bonuses that are added at the end. Anyway, this is part of making fast range weapons be useful for beast mastery hunters, and range weapons of middling speed be useful for marksmanship hunters, so that the best uses are not getting vendored or disenchanted. Or being a stat stick for a different class. For being stat sticks for different classes. Using an auto attack, rapid strike, or devil strike, a new ability, will put your the new survival hunters already want to point out. Yes. Using an auto attack, rapid strike, or double strike will put your range swing timer on its otherwise normal cooldown. Quotation mark, swing, quotation mark. But not vice versa. So, for example, if you have a 3.0 range attack speed and 3.0 melee attack speed, then after attacking either a melee auto attack, rapid strike, or double strike, you must wait for 3, that is 3 minus 0.5 plus 0.5 seconds before you may fire an auto shot again. But if you have not used one of the 3 aforementioned melee abilities in the last 3 seconds, and then you fire an auto shot, you may swing your melee weapon immediately afterwards. This will save tryhards from themselves. And if you want to know how it's going to save tryhards from themselves, well, I kind of already explained it. Mongoose Bite will be given a 7.5% melee attack power coefficient for the time being, so that it more often is worth clicking on in the first place. Do note that Wrath had a 20% attack power coefficient. That's a lot higher. Its tooltip will specify that its damage increases with attack power in this Classic Plus. When a mob determines whether or not to aggro you after Feigned Death has ended, all mobs involved will act as if they are close to you when the nearest mob that is linked to their aggro table or however is. All mobs that are involved are going to act like they're that close to you. It's close to the nearest mob that's around you. This will prevent many exploits, among them being Feigning Death to separate Princess Moria Bronzebeard from the Emperor and being able to aggro the Princess without the Emperor. And being able to aggro the Princess without the Emperor. Tranquilizing Shot will also reduce the target's rage by 10, if applicable, because it makes sense. It's a fucking tranquilizer. However, it'll also no longer work on mechanicals, because that also makes sense. A spell will be added to the Hunter's spellbook at character creation that reads as such. Quotation mark. Your techniques take advantage of wearing leather armor. Your damage dealt will be decreased by 2.5% for each piece of leather or mail that is not worn when your level is high enough that you can realistically equip leather or mail in all the relevant equipment slots. Beginning at level 50, you'll still get penalized for not wearing mail. Current penalty minus X%. This is hopefully going to be 0, because hopefully you're going to be wearing all leather, or later on, all mail. Anyway, from levels 1 through 19, there shall be no penalties incurred by this talent, period. From levels 20 and 29, you shall be penalized for wearing cloth or no. Chests, bracers, gloves, belts, pants, or boots. From levels 30 to 39, you shall be penalized for wearing cloth or no. Shoulders, chests, bracers, gloves, belts, pants, or boots. From levels 40 to 49, you shall be penalized for wearing cloth or no. Helms, shoulders, chests, bracers, gloves, belts, pants, or boots. And for levels 50 to 60, you shall be penalized for wearing leather, cloth, or no. Helms, shoulders, chests, bracers, gloves, belts, pants, or boots. These changes will prevent druids and rogues from having to compete with hunters for some items in dungeons and raids. Getting debuffed by this shall display a red debuff to make sure that people who do not pay much attention to the game mechanics notice it, such as all those warriors from Vanilla Classic who leveled in leather on fucking PvP servers. By the way, those great people actually existed, in case they didn't play on a PvP server. And there were a lot of them. Section now, 7.1.3 Beast Mastery changes. First off, improved aspect of the Hawk will no longer have a chance upon range attack to increase range chase by 30% for 12 seconds. It'll instead have a 1.5% plus 1% chance plus a 1 proc per minute chance upon hitting with any range attack, not just normal range attacks, of increasing your range crit by 6% per rank for 12 seconds, which will make this talent be competitive with mortal shots for survival hunters, deep survival hunters, as well as being part of what will make marksmanship hunters desire range weapons of middling speed. Improved aspect of the monkey shall be merged into improved aspect of the hawk, occupying the slot of improved aspect of the hawk that will be moved up one space, and using its icon, and it'll be renamed, and the talent will be renamed to improved aspects, ensuring that every survival hunter gets to have the extra 5 dodge chance from aspect of the monkey in their rating specs, so that they can do that much better in PvP while in their rating specs. A new talent to replace where improved aspect of the monkey was: bestial resistance. Increases your pet's resistance by 1/5 of your pet's level per rank. All 5 resistances. This talent exists to occupy the spot where improved aspect of the monkey was, so as not to reduce beast mastery talent diversity, and to make it easier for beast mastery hunter pets to survive in raids, to some extent at least. To some extent, at least. To encourage hunters to pick the talent in the first place, improved Eyes of the Beast will also increase the damage dealt by your pet by 25/50% for its duration. That is 25% at rank 1, 50% at rank 2. Unleash Fury's damage benefit will be halved, but it'll apply to all damage dealt by your pet, including abilities such as Spit, Poison, and Claw. This is being done so that elemental weapon damage dealt by your pets, a la Ice Blade, Hacker, and Venom Strike, scales the same for Beast Mastery hunters as it does for other hunters, and more importantly, because Beast Mastery hunters are overpowered in PvP while leveling, that is, at low levels. Frenzy will be changed from a 5-point talent to a 3-point talent, granting a 1/3 proc chance per talent point instead of a 20% proc chance per talent point in order to make room for a new talent. Frenzy will only proc off of and be consumed by orange attacks, that is, your pet's version of white attacks, making pets that do not learn Claw, therefore not be useless in raids. Frenzy shall additionally, when it procs, cause your pet to tear the opponent's armor, with a debuff called Torn Armor. This reduces it by half your pet's level, rounded down, for 40 seconds. Reduces its armor by half of your pet's level, rounded down per stack for 40 seconds. Stack it up to 5 times. And stack it up all other armor reduction debuffs of the different names. There may be 1 Torn Armor debuff stack at a time. Higher level debuffs will override lower level ones, 5 stacks or not. The level in this case means pet level, not the amount of armor reduced by the stack. When Torn Armor is a different duration in the same armor reduction stack, it'll refresh the duration. If enemies in the Molten Core can temporarily melt your armor, which you could in Vanilla, then your armor can be temporarily torn too. This will be a big portion of what gets Beast Mastery hunters invited to raids. New talent that Frenzy is squished down to make room for. Opportunistic Strikes. I just named that talent last version. I'm not so sure about that name yet. The 2-point talent, passive, grants your pet a 7% chance at rank 1 and a 15% chance at rank 2 to, whenever you strike your pet's target with a melee or ranged attack, instantly strike its target where you struck it, dealing damage equal to 15% of your melee or ranged attack power. Melee attack power is chosen for the hunter's mitt. It deals damage equal to 15% of melee attack power if the hunter performs a melee attack, or 15% of ranged attack power if the hunter performs a ranged attack. Any direct weapon damage from the hunter, including item procs, may proc this instead of physical attack hits the pet's target. The melee part was added for fun. It does not mean that Beast Mastery hunters will deal decent melee damage, even granted the above note. But it does mean that they will be more likely to survive if they are forced into melee range. Obviously, your pet will have to be in melee range of the hunter's target and be attacking the hunter's target for the talent's procs to go off. By the way, as of last version, I referred to this talent tentatively as Frenzy procs because it used to be attached to Frenzy, but now I finished separating it. Anyway, as of recording this video, during the recording, I finished separating it. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, your pet's has to be in melee range of the hunter's target and be attacking it for the talent's procs to go up, for opportunistic strikes to do anything. This talent is intended to make Beast Mastery hunters desire fast range weapons that are other range weapons, and therefore make them not be vendor trash. And lastly, Bestial Wrath will be reclassified as an range effects, enabling Tranquilizing Shot to dispel it, because thematics. Now then, Marksmanship talent changes. Improved Arcane Shot will reduce its cooldown by 0.8 seconds per rank, and reduces mana cost by 13% per rank in order to make the talent not be garbage. It also serves as a PvP talent that's also useful for kiting. So in total, that's at rank 5, 4-second cooldown reduction for Arcane Shot, and 65% mana cost reduction for Arcane Shot. Hold on. Improved Serpent Sting shall be a 2-point talent, lowering the mana cost of Serpent Sting by 50% at rank 1 and 100% at rank 2, instead of increasing its damage by 2% per rank. This shall make Serpent Sting actually be worth using in raids, which is necessary because new players will intuit that they ought to be using Serpent Sting for general damage dealing, including in raids, especially now that there's a shared debuff limit of 255 shared with buffs. So basically no limit. There's also some fairly complicated talent tree stuff involved in this change. Hawkeye shall be a 2-point talent, increasing the range of your ranged weapons by 3/6 yards, so that non-marksmanship hunters can max out both it and moral shots. It shall be ensured that casting aim shot does not reset the auto shot timer. Other spells with fire projectiles should reset your melee and range swing timers, notably resulting in not being able to simultaneously spam lightning ball and auto attack as a shaman, for example. Lightning Ball was formerly named Lightning Bolt, by the way. If necessary, I shall completely normalize the portion of aim shots weapon damage and make range weapons of middling speed be desired by marksmanship hunters, and fast ones be desired by beast mastery hunters, and so make weapons of middling speed not be vendor trash. Improved Hunter's Mark will be removed from the game because it was just such a fucking awful talent. Improved Flare shall be a new talent for marksmanship hunters at 20 talent points. Excuse me, that requires 20 points. A 3-point talent. Passive. Reduces the cooldown of Flare by 1 second per rank. This exists to replace Improved Hunter's Mark. It could be replaced with a completely different talent in the same position with the same cost, so long as it abides by the following rules. Number 1. It is not a talent that you would not want to have while someone else in your group has it, as opposed to when that ain't the case. Number 2. If it is essential for PvP, then it is also useful for raiding, or possibly essential for raiding. Alternatively, that is. If it is essential for raiding, then it is also useful for PvP, or optionally essential for PvP. The talent must not be useless in PvP. If it is essential for raiding, then it must not be useless for most solo play. There is no such rule for if it's essential for PvP because PvP talents are automatically useful in solo play by their very nature. Ranged weapon specialization shall no longer increase the damage dealt by a hunter's range attacks by 1% per rank. It will instead increase a hunter's ranged weapon damage by 0.4% of the hunter's range attack power per rank. So 2% of your all of your ranged weapon damage will have 2% of your range attack power added to it at max rank 5. This is part of making marksmanship hunters desire ranged weapons of middling speed. It shall be ensured that haste and slowed effects do not affect the casting time of the aim shot. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the case in vanilla, but just in case. The talent tree location of Improved Serpent Sting shall be swapped with that Improved Hunter's Mark, where it was before. The talent tree location of Improved Serpent Sting will be swapped with that of Improved Hunter's Mark. That Improved Serpent Sting, which is changed to be essential for all hunter specs, is more accessible. And because some talent tree stuff that's pretty hard to explain. Try making a mock-up of the new version of the talent trees and experiment with info if you want to know more. I do not feel like going through the effort of doing that just for this video. I already went over it when I was rearranging the talents, and then I just deleted the fucking thing for some reason. The diagram of their talent locations, that is. I have not changed their talent location since, by the way. Improved Scorpion Sting shall be removed from the game because it was just so fucking awful. In its place shall be a new talent, Improved Rapid Fire. A 5-point talent that requires 15 points in marksmanship talents to obtain. Passive. Reduces the cooldown of Rapid Fire by 12% per rank. That's 60% at level 5. This talent could be replaced. Just like Improved Flare, this could be replaced with a completely different talent in the same position with the same cost, so as long as it abides by the same rules as for Improved Flare. Now then, survival talent changes. The good stuff. Well, for melee hunters anyway. Humanoid Slate shall also, first off, Humanoid Slate shall also increase your damage and critical damage multiplier versus the undead by 1% per rank, because most of the undead used to be humanoids, therefore it makes sense. Monster Slaying shall also increase your damage and crit mult versus demons, insects, and oozes by 1% per rank, because it makes sense. Crit mult means critical damage multiplier. Trap Mastery shall be changed so that at 1 point, it makes the traps 5% less likely to be resisted, while at 2 points, it makes your traps be 5% less likely to be resisted still, but also makes your traps last for an extra 30 seconds without being triggered before they despawn. This will cause the second point to be a PvP talent. Savage Strike shall also increase the critical strike chance of a new ability called Devil Sword Strike, the new 31-point talent, by 10% per rank, so 20% at rank 2. And Savage Strikes will also make your parries get your next melee attack plus 20% of damage at rank 1, or 40% of damage at rank 2, both instead of 40% melee haste for the next attack. For the next melee attack. Design note, the parry damage bonus attacks to a maximum of 3 times, but ends without being consumed if you exit melee range or stop auto-attacking. So a cat to plus 120% damage, hard cat. Also, the haste to damage parry change will prevent parry from messing up their melee rotation in solo PvE, and in some PvP. I would make an increased crit instead of damage, but then Raptor Strike would go over the hard crit cap of 100% for Alliance Hunters, and I do not want that happening. Improved Feign Death will reduce the cooldown of Feign Death by 3/6 seconds, instead of reducing the chance that it gets resisted by 2/4%, causing it to be of more than slight use in PvE and to not be nice use in PvP. The slash means which rank the talent is being referred to. Killer Instinct shall also cause you to have a chance of weapon hits to expose the target's weakness, increasing the attack power of all attackers against its target by 50 at rank 1, 100% at rank 2, /150% at rank 3, by 150% every level for 7 seconds. Said chance is equal to 4 procs per minute for one-handed and ranged weapons, or 7 procs per minute for two-handed weapons. This will be what gets the survival hunter invited to raise. So at level 6 and rank 3, it's going to be 90 attack power. Enemies hit the target as if the attackers have an extra 90 attack power, while Killer Instinct procs. Lightning Reflexes shall be changed to also decrease the mana cost of your damage and melee abilities by 2% per rank, and reduce the chance their attacks are dodged by 0.4% per rank, and the talent will be renamed to Survival Instincts. This shall make Survival Hunters expand, if I recall correctly, about as much mana as Hunter Hunters do, and the dodge chance penetration, so to speak, means that Double Sword Strike's bleed does not have to hit as hard. Design note, if Vindication is changed to not reduce agility anymore, then I will be able to afford to double the dodge chance penetration for this talent. Wayward Snake shall be removed from each survival talent tree because it was awful, and because I want to turn survival into a real melee plus range spec. So now only Ileana Ravenoak is going to have Wayward Snake. And I don't remember anything else out of it. Anyway, new talent, Devil Sword Strike. Requires 30 points in survival talents and 3 points in Killer Instinct. 1 point talent, melee talent, 6-second cooldown. It is the next melee talent, like Raptor Strike and Heroic Strike and Cleave. It replaces your next auto attack when you use it. At rank 1, it costs 80 mana. Rank 2, 95 mana. Rank 3, 110 mana. 3 ranks, 1 for talent, rank 2 at level 50, and rank 3 at level 60. Survival School requires melee weapon. Hold on. Okay. A savage attack that deals an extra X damage and severely wounds the target, making it bleed for 250% of completely normalized weapon damage over 30 seconds. The target will bleed quickly at first, but the bleeding will slow down as the duration elapses. Note yet again that completely normalized weapon damage means that not only is the attack speed normalized, but so is the base damage on the weapon. In this case, completely normalized means it's normalized around 3.3 weapon speed. 3.2 weapon speed. Normalized around 3.3 weapon speed for two-handed weapons, but for hunters, it's normalized around 3.2 speed instead. So some notes. The extra X damage is 115 at rank 1, 157 at rank 2, and 200 at rank 3. These are the totals of the old talent called Lacerate's damage, multiplied with 1.5. You know, Lacerate from way back when in Vanilla WoW before he added Wayward Sting. The bleed damage is normalized around 2.3 speed. The bleed damage is normalized again around 2.3 speed if he's in one hand. I forgot to mention that part. Or 3.2 speed if he's in a two hand. I did remember to mention that part. The bleed ticks once per 3 seconds. Each application of Devil Sword Strike will produce a new debuff without affecting existing debuffs. So if you Devil Sword Strike a guy 5 times in a row, that's 5 debuffs at once. Though the 5th one's going to wear off right away, because that'll be the end of its duration. The bleed damage does not increase when a melee attack that causes it crits, nor by the parry damage boost from Savage Strikes. Double Sword Strike will share a cooldown with Aim Shot and Arcane Shot. Otherwise, you would be able to use it in aim/auto/multi-shot rotation, even though it's a melee attack, which would be overpowered and run tryhards ragged and burn them out. And burn them out on this game much faster than I'd... on this game pretty fast. Which is a bad thing, it would make them be subscribed for less time to the game. The mana costs are based on old last rate spell ranks. Are already. All plus 15 to make them be more expensive than Rapid Strike, since the name suggests that the spell is an upgrade to Rapid Strike, which it kind of is. And thus, Devil Sword Strike ought to be more expensive than Rapid Strike, so it is. K Devil Sword Strike while dual wielding will not negate your off-end weapon's dual wield hit penalty. The bleed damage schedule is as such. The first tick deals 10/55 of total bleed damage. The second tick, 9/55. The third tick, 8/55. The fourth tick, 7/55. And so on until the final tick, the 10th one, deals 1/55 of total bleed damage. From the dot. The bleed exists in the place of direct damage and has such a long duration in order to prevent the ability from being too bursty in PvP and to hit so hard because it has to hit so hard in order to make 5/15/31 and 0/20/31 hunters deal 5 to 10% more damage in melee than at range. If it didn't hit at least that much harder, then why even get in melee range and range to begin with? This shall be placed where a Raven Sting was in each talent tree. This serves the main things that turn survival into a melee plus range spec. And not just a range spec with a tiny bit of melee. A bit of backup melee. Instead it's a melee plus range spec proper. The range part comes from Aim Shot, so you can just off-spec into Beast Mastery instead of Marksmanship and just be a melee spec with range backup if you wanted, instead of a 5/15/31 or 0/20/31 hunter. And that's it for hunter changes, excluding their pets. The next hunter pets will be in the next video. Thanks for watching.